This issue of Khalistan is one that has created friction between India and UK even in the past. Since 2019, since there was talk about referendum 2020 and there was a protest, a demonstration rather, that was supposed to be held in the UK. Do you feel that that friction has re-emerged now with the current incident that we're talking about?
The UK, as I said, does not tolerate extremism of any sort and is a proudly diverse society in the ways that I've explained. There are many great things about the UK-India relationship, and one of them is the flow of people between the two countries. India tops almost every single visa category for British visas which we issue. I think number one for students, number one for visitors, number one for skilled workers. Now, you're going to get a huge flow of people. Most of that is great. Occasionally it's not great. And we have to act when it's not great, and we have to do that in cooperation. But in my view, we cannot allow individual acts to stop the enormous progress that we have been making between our two governments since our Prime Ministers met 2 years ago. This is an essential agenda for the UK and India, and also for the world, I think, whether that's on climate change, whether that's on defence, whether that's on trade and investment. And we have to make sure we stay the course and we keep going, that we manage the problems, because there will always be problems, but we keep ourselves clear about what the goal is.
So, since you mentioned trade, there was a report which was denied that India had paused the trade negotiations because of this issue. That report was denied by the Indian side, and I think the next date for the trade negotiations has also been fixed to end of this month. But how did that rumor come about? Was there anything that happened in the background really? Was this issue brought up during the trade negotiations?
I think you're making exactly the point I want to make, that there will always be noise, there will occasionally be difficulties, but we have to stay the course, and the trade negotiations have indeed done that. We have, I think, our 8th round of trade negotiations will take place starting next week. We've got a long way down the negotiations. I think I can see a potential deal which would increase jobs and prosperity in both countries by increasing trade and increasing investment both ways. And with the political will and of course the hard pounding of negotiations, I think we can get there. And one of the things which Prime Minister Modi and Prime Minister Sunak talked about was exactly accelerating those trade negotiations, because they see the economic value of reaching an FTA, and that would be the broadest FTA which India has ever done, I think. And it would also send a strategic signal, because we have to put all of this in the context of a much more competitive, sharper world. We just reissued an update of our strategy document, our integrated review, and it gives you the sense of what challenges both India and the UK face, whether that's from geopolitical competition or indeed some issues like climate change. And we need things like the free trade deal in order both to create economic value but also to create strategic value for both countries.